Happy full moon in Cancer, my friends, and welcome to my channel. I'm your Cosmic Auntie, and yeah, this is going to be a collective reading for the full moon in Cancer, which is happening tomorrow. So I'm recording this the day before the full moon, but this could find you anytime within the next few weeks and feel relevant to you in this moon cycle. I'm excited to get into this conversation. I am using a bit of a different deck today. It's a deck that I've never used in a collective reading or a personal reading. This is one that I have always, it's somewhat new to my collection, that I use for myself. It's one of my very deep study deck. I do a lot of my studying on this deck. And so I'm excited to share it with you. I've picked the cards because they're very large, and I put the deck back in because I want to show you here. I want to show you the cover because it's quite a presence. So it's the Alchemical Visions Tarot. I'm trying not to blind you because it's silver. The Alchemical Visions Tarot by Arthur Taussig. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his last name right, but yeah. So Alchemical Visions Tarot. I will write this in the description box below too, so that you can check out the name down there in case you want to find it for yourself or look it up again. But yeah, the cards are very large, so I have four turned over now, for Cancer being the fourth sign, ruling the fourth house. So we'll start with this. There may be some oracle. We'll see, because these are very rich and say quite a lot. And I want to show you the inside of the deck. Inside of the box. It's really beautiful. So also, they really it does not want, I think it only wants you to see these imagery. It's a very mysterious deck. It's all about the subconscious. 78 keys to unlock your subconscious mind. The traveler, the soul journey, and the alchemy of the internal and the external. It's such an interesting deck. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'll fix it later. So, all right. So the Alchemical Visions Tarot, which is kind of already giving me the energy of subconscious energy. Subconscious, I talk about the subconscious aspects of our experience, which is very Cancerian as well. Cancer is one of the archetypes that really assists in our traveling of the subconscious. And the moon too, the moon in the tarot, a moon herself, in her phases and her mystery and her illumination and her presence and her love is there, and we learn so much from her, and she also provides so much for us. So, and when we think of the moon in the tarot, that card is the doorway into the subconscious, and which is a realm of our intuition, our knowing. It can be a place of illusion as well. It can be a place of trickery. And so as we travel through and we, dive into the shadow, really is what we're talking about. There's this process of clearing and revealing, and there's this, through that process, the soul has more room to expand. So interesting. I think we should turn these over. Actually, before I do feel like this conversation is really going to be around self-talk. That's what really came through in the meditations before the reading. I actually wrote some notes down. The question came through, what does your internal dialogue sound like? And I feel with that, my friends, is that there's been lessons learned. There's been lessons learned in regards to how you've been speaking to yourself, or how you have spoken to yourself, because there's a certain past tense energy that's coming through with this. So it's kind of indicating to me that there has been identification and learning in regards to a certain way you've noticed you speak to yourself. Now, I feel like with this moon, the moon in Cancer is inviting us into, okay, the application process. So there's this energy of now being at a whole different phase of the journey, in a way where there's this different sense of practice where you're employing these lessons and shifting, and it's shifting the way that you're speaking to yourself, which is really cool, because I feel a sense of warmth. I feel a sense of gentleness. And I sense a lot of patience. So it's really beautiful. Let's turn these over. Ace of Coins. Wow, let's go one at a time, because these are a lot to look at and I want to show them to you. They're very glossy, so I'm sorry if I blind you. I'm going to hold them on an angle like that. So Ace of Coins, right? A whole new phase of the journey. As you can see, this rider is going to travel through this dark wood in order to get to the destination. And there's this energy here of really paying attention to how you feel in your body, and perhaps that's been one of the main indications to identifying this like self-talk, this self-talk behavior that you've been learning through. Like, it's like, you know what it is, and I feel like one of the goals here is to feel better in your body. And so there's this awareness of going into the depths, going into the shadow, into the darkness, and trusting yourself to hold space for what comes up in that space, and trusting the journey and participating in the journey. Wow, so interesting. There's things too that y'all are working on and have been working on or want to build. And another thing that I feel has been an indication of identifying this self-talk behavior that was honestly like getting in the way. I just keep seeing like something keeps wanting to cover my like eyes and my perception. It's like, you know, when you have like, I don't know if any of you have like little siblings, and they're always like, you know, if you're looking at the TV or watching a movie and a hand in front of you, that's what is happening to me right now. So that just also kind of lends itself to this energy that the full moon is inviting us into, where of practice, of now it is our chance to employ these lessons learned, to really apply them, and to really start like, you know, creating this new neural pathway Like, that's what it feels like to me. Let's turn this over. Oh my gosh, the Temperance card. So, patience. There's also this, wow, profound amounts of divine support coming through. Yeah. You are safe, you are loved, and you are protected. And I feel like the moon, the energy really wants us to be reminded of that, because it takes persistence to get through the deep dark wood. It takes persistence to, you know, build a whole new neural pathway, because we can do that. And shifting out of, you know, an old neural pathway that is you're outgrown, it's not conducive to where it is that you're going, and so you're shifting it, and it's uncharted territory, but you got this. And this practice of the new way, the more constructive way, now that's a good word, because there's a more constructive way that I sense you have been working on communicating yourself with, if that makes any sense. Yeah, it's like really, the Temperance is all about merging different elements together. We are all alchemists, and this is one of the cards that really speaks to the presence of the alchemist. It's very calm, curious, patience, and that's where I feel like y'all are when it comes to showing up to whatever is coming up, because when it comes to constructive self-talk and let's just leave it with that, constructive self-talk, it's validating, you know, how challenging life can be at times, you know, because there could have been patterns that you observed where there's bypassing of challenging emotions because they're uncomfortable, and that's, you know, and then they kind of start popping up in different ways throughout the shadow, or different, they manifest in different ways, or manifest in, yeah. So you know what I mean, is there's maybe some patterns of bypassing, and then there's maybe some patterns of living in these challenging feelings too, because it's important to acknowledge the challenge but not live in the challenge completely, right? Because we live in a world of duality, and the alchemy of that polarity, it's a spectrum, it's a beautiful like rainbow, right? Like, look at this card is also about angels too, and I just really feel like it's important to share with you that you are so loved, even if there's been some times where you've felt really alone and really, I feel this divine guidance coming through, and it's really beautiful. And this like protection. 6 of Swords. Wow. So this really is coming in, this reading is really coming in at the viewpoint of a whole new beginning. And it just, there's so much expansion and beauty and potential that I sense here, my friends. So the full moon is about fruition and release. And so there's things, right? Like these identifications of self-talk behaviors that are starting to get in your way. And really like acknowledge them, and there's a lesson learned there, and now it's the application process. And yes, it is going to provide some challenges. You are creating a whole new neural pathway, and it is completely normal to have some past triggers come up, and just keep applying those constructive lessons learned in regards to how you speak to yourself, because there's things that you are building, there's things that you're doing, and they're so awesome, and they show so much promise. There's so much prosperity, there's so much wisdom. Like, those of you who are here this full moon, like, I really, as your cosmic auntie, I encourage you to really witness how far you've come, and to just feel the power of those lessons learned. And yeah, it is going to be a challenge practicing and embedding those lessons, but it is going to pay off in just leaps and bounds, because the goal here, I sense, is really just feeling so much better in your body, and feeling more peace. And I feel like there's a lot of shifts that have happened due to tweaking this self-talk into something more constructive. Because with the Six of Swords, this is a card of moving on from battle. This is a card from moving on from feelings of defeat, okay? And moving and traveling and just moving on mentally from those challenging times into larger, to more expansion, mental expansion, to, let's see what this card is. Queen of Wands. Focus on what you want, on who you are, and how you wield your power. Wow. I know it's been hard, my friend, but dang, is it worth it? I do feel like that's something that might make you smile a little bit, because you know that it's been worth it. It has been challenging. It has been, and all the while, even when I sense that there's times where you don't trust yourself, but you do. You've gone deeper into that true voice, and you do. You know, and I just saw like it's so interesting. I just saw the hand reaching out, and then my eyes were brought up to here, and it looked exactly like that. You know, that like famous painting of like touching fingers in the clouds. Like, I guess it's like Adam and God. I don't even know. There's a whole bunch of them. Like, I think that's how the first one, but they're like this. That's how it kind of showed up. So there's this deep connection with life. There's this deep soul knowledge of how important you are, and how this is your life to live, and how you are connected to everything, how you are own individual within the collective, and that, again, this is your life to live. This is something that I feel is really important coming through this full moon in Cancer. And I'm thrilled to see like this very profound, I want to say fierce softness, and I guess I did, so I'm gonna keep that there, like, because you'd think, right, there's kind of a polarity with those things, but again, there's merging. It's the alchemy. So fierce softness, the fierceness in regards to really making moves towards what you want, and the softness in the ways you go about it, and also the ways that you relate to yourself. Because there's this fire and water alchemization here, plus then we have this grounded earth energy, so I can sense this watery nature, this fiery nature, and that's where the tweaking is. I also wrote down what, anyway, that's where the tweaking has been. Wow, what a super cool reading. So what I was saying is I'm just really happy to see that there's just this more gentle way of relating to yourself as you go about building the life of your dreams. And I encourage you to keep working on this new neural pathway when it comes to how you relate to yourself and how you feel about yourself, how you feel in your body, and how, like, honestly, okay, I really feel like you've become your own best friend. And saying that, knowing that that is an art and in a practice that you have committed to yourself, because there's this drive, this yearning to just experience life in its fullness, and that's exactly what you're doing. Wow. So around this full moon, I feel like some helpful things could be, journaling, writing down, writing down things in regards to how far you've come. Maybe there's journals back when you were beginning to identify this pattern where you're really starting to be able to be like, oh, okay, I spoke to myself like this again in this circumstance, and starting to be able to map it out, because there is, again, really profound lessons learned here. And I feel like the mother, the moon, Cancer, wants us to really feel proud of ourselves. You're doing great, sweetie. You're doing great. And you really are. So maybe there's journal entries, if you are a journaler, where you started identifying these, or any kind of art or craft or expressive thing, anything that may bring you back to those things, to be like, wow, look at how far I've come. And to really celebrate your growth and celebrate your expansion and this whole new beginning and this deepening wisdom. Like, there really is no going back, okay? I hope that that's something I can say that's encouraging. There may be triggers along the path that come up, right? Remember when we were talking about the subconscious, there can be illusions in there can be trickery in there, but it's not real. You're like, no, I know exactly what that is, and I know where to, right? You know what to believe and not to believe. And again, when it comes to constructive thoughts, right? Like, you knowing what it is, it's like, okay, well, I'm feeling nervous right now, or I'm feeling scared right now, or because I'm doing this thing that I have really, I really care about, or something, wherever you find yourself in your circumstance. I just feel like you're able to quickly turn it around. It's absolutely normal for me to feel nervous. There's nothing wrong with me. That's a normal thing to feel. Like, that's the kind of example that I'm feeling coming through the reading today. And it's really, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And trusting yourself. The Queen of Wands trusts herself. She's been through a lot in order to get where she's at. And that is something that she falls back on in regards to, expressing what she wants. The fire energy is all about adventure, creativity, passion. There's so much to look at in these cards. And the Queen of Wands too has all these the lion, and then there's also like a tabby cat down here or something. Yeah, a tabby cat. And it just, shows that there's a notion of really making friends with like your inner beasts, and there's a power to that, and a necessity with that, where we get to know our own shadow. We get to, identify certain things, and the more we identify them, the less power they have. Because look, these cats are all chilling because the Queen of Wands has gone through a lot to tame them, befriend them, to get to know them. And the more that the relationships are built with these places in ourselves, and this is where I feel like you are, the less power they have. And that results in embarking in a whole new journey. And I just feel like there's this stepping into a whole fresh chapter happening right now. And the full moon is the ending and the beginning of that. And up here with Jupiter and the rainbow, and then the rainbow here with the Temperance, like, I just get the sense like things are gonna get so much easier and feel so much lighter, and these new neural pathways that you've been working on and you are working on are going to just really set in a lovely way, and it's just gonna really pay off, and you're going to continue feeling better about yourself. You're going to feel better in your body, and feel better in your surroundings, because I get the sense too, like, a lot, this internal self, it's almost this deepening self-respect has perhaps changed a lot in your environment, and it may have been difficult, but it feels better. Because there's more air for you to breathe. There's more mental space to be able to focus on who you are, what you want, and how and what your family's doing, the people that feel like home to, like you and yours, because the Queen of Wands is very family oriented and also very loyal and community oriented, but also very much a strong individual in regards to making moves for what she wants and commending her space and taking action on what she wants. So I feel like, yeah, here, I guess, every little ding counts. But I just, honestly, for those of you who are here for the full moon in Cancer, this is a celebration for you. This is. And this is like, it is. It's your time now. It's your time to shine. And I love to see it. So happy full moon. Journal if you want. Write down. Revel in how far you've come. And keep employing that constructive, gentle self-talk in regards to how you relate to yourself and how that assists you in feeling in your body, and how it assists you in being able to make moves in the world that feel authentic to you. So I hope this was helpful in some way, and I will probably see you. Well, I'm halfway. No, I'm not halfway through. If I get 2 of them done today, I'll be halfway through the January readings. I'm a little bit behind due to the holidays, but yeah, I'm at Aries and Taurus, so those 2 are coming up next. If this was at all interesting to you, please hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more, leave me a comment if anything popped up for you and you feel comfortable to do so. Yeah, I see a lot of just joyous, peaceful, profound, authentic, prosperous energy coming through, and I just want to say one more time, well done on shifting, and trailblazing new neural pathways that feel more supportive to you, that feel more conducive and constructive and helpful to you, where you have gotten to know yourself and fall in love with yourself at a deeper way, even if it's been challenging. And there's this beautiful expansive home I sense that you are reconstructing for yourself and building upon. And so again, the full moon are both endings and beginnings. So what has come to fruition and what is being released? And as we lead back to the new moon, and that's this, time of planting the seeds. So maybe going back to the new moon in Capricorn, that could be a helpful time frame reference. So it's time to shine, baby. And this is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill. Yes, there will be challenging paths, challenging times, but you got this. And you got this. All right, Auntie loves you, and I will see you in the next reading.